Hi, my name is Ray Milligan, and I am here with my mentor teacher, Dr. Stevenson at Riverview Elementary, and we are in a Gen Ed first grade classroom. So, Dr. Stevenson, when have you had a student who, at the beginning of the year, had really difficult behavior, but by the end, they had pretty much changed and for the better?
So, a student that comes to mind is a student I had last year. He is a student that is extremely intelligent. He does have a diagnosis of ADHD, and I suspect high functioning autism, although that was not an official diagnosis. But based on a lot of the behaviors that I saw in the classroom, I would I would not be surprised if he was also able to be diagnosed with high functioning autism. He is a very likable student, but also very particular. And so at the very beginning of the school year, I could tell early on that he and I were going to have a good relationship because he was funny. He enjoyed making jokes. He could be very positive, but he also had a very difficult time completing work. He could be very sarcastic. He needed things to be very particular. If this schedule was out of order, he could not handle that. He needed a lot of positive reinforcement. And so our classroom behavior management is, we're reminding students to show positive behavior. We're commenting on those who are. But if a student is not showing expected behavior, they move their clip down and they have to walk a lap at recess, and it is documented in our binder. So this was not a strategy that would work for this child because he would have done that within the first 5 minutes. So whenever I have a student that is needing a little bit more support, I create a behavior chart for them, and I take 1 or 2 goals that I would like to work on. Obviously, we cannot fix every single thing that's wrong with their behavior because sometimes there's a lot, but I'd pick, like, if I could have a magic wand and fix one thing, what is the one thing that would make my day easier and his day easier? So for him, it was working quietly because he would talk constantly, and also finishing his work. He had a really hard time finishing his assignments. He had a lot of stimming behaviors. He would play in his desk and just sit there and kind of stim a lot, so being focused on work. So you frame it in a positive way, like instead of, calling out, we were going to say work quietly, instead of not doing work, completing tasks. So I broke the day up into our daily schedule on the chart, which he also liked because he could follow along with where we were in the day. He knew what we had just completed and what was coming up next, and he would earn a smiley face or a check mark for each time. And then he chose his reward was iPad time. So that's something that he wanted to do by the end of the day if he was able to complete his assignment. So at the beginning of the year, he had a really difficult time, and I always change the percentage of expectant behavior. So at the beginning it was like 70%, and throughout the year we changed it up to 85, and then there's a lot of days he was at 100%. He didn't even need the chart at all. But then there would be some days where maybe he didn't sleep well the night before, or he had older siblings that were like college age, so when they would be out of town for a while or you wouldn't see them as much, he would struggle. And so one thing that really helped was that he and his mom and I had constant communication, and she was on board with what we were doing. So I would send the chart home and she would review it so she could talk to him about how his behavior was and follow up at home, which is really important. Over the last 15 years of doing this, I've had a lot of difficult students. I used to teach special ed and do preschool, and now I'm in first grade. So I've had a lot of kids with difficult behavior, and the times that we have seen the most change is when parents are on board. If they are not, it does not happen as easily. So it just really takes the whole team working together to get the most positive change. So yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much.